Hey everybody, John here at Havoc Maker Studio and FMP Wargamers. So today we're going to talk about some upcoming miniatures and some surprises I knew about for a few weeks ago, and I just missed a video. I'm going to blame it on some of the medications that the VA has given me that makes my brain fizzle out. So first thing though, I want to talk about a shipping port, one of the major ones in the U.S. is going to be closing down or limiting their functionality, like the number of personnel that are on hand. And we're already experiencing shipping delays throughout the world already. So I imagine the actual literal shipping of product is going to be slower as well, especially those that ship large quantities that have to go by sea. For gaming wise, I'm looking at you. Anything coming out of Asmodee, Fantasy Flight Games, Games Workshop. Let's see here. Really, I think those are the big ones. Anything that's coming from Europe or China. So pretty much everything is getting kind of slowed down. And expect major delays probably throughout the rest of the year. Not as bad as last year where we were just not getting anything. Just expect some slower delays. Now, one company in particular, over at WizKids and Wizards of the Coast, Hasbro. Well, we're not going to worry about Hasbro, but let's just concentrate on WizKids and Wizards of the Coast. They are going to be doing a surcharge, basically an upcharge of about 5% because there's been an with everything that's going on with the pandemic and lack of personnel and loss of money, et cetera, prices are going to be increased. And in this case, I mean, really, I'm not too worried about WizKids and Wizard of the Coast upping the price by 5%. That's not a big ordeal, especially when you consider that for easily a decade, they have not up their prices. Actually, there's a lot of companies out there that have not increased the price. I'm not looking at you, Games Workshop. You just increase the price whenever you want and for no particular reason. So we're not talking about you. You're your own shoot show. You know what I mean? But everybody else has been kind of eating the cost, and which is really cool. Thank you. But whether they're eating the cost or not, I don't know for sure, but they say they are, so let's just assume they are. But the fact that they've been taking a hit so long and now they're going to be passing, they've gotten to a point where like, okay, we're losing money. If we're losing money, then that means that we're not able to keep doing all this great stuff that we're doing, like Wizard of the Coast and WizKids. They can't keep producing all this great stuff if they're losing money. That means they have to start letting people go. They have to cut down on the amount of products that they've got coming out. Could you imagine what would happen if instead of maybe 4 or 5 boxes a year, let's just say 4 boxes a year for Magic the Gathering, all of a sudden it's just now 2 sets a year? Oh, people would flip out. I think the people from like Dungeons and Dragons and some of the other smaller games would be like, oh, okay, no biggie. But the Magic the Gathering crowd, oh, they're going to lose their mind. Twitter is going to erupt, though I'm not sure if they're on Twitter. But anyways, they're going to be passing on 5% to us, which isn't much. So, like an example, I haven't seen it yet, but like Noel Zur's Marvelous Miniatures, which we're going to talk about here in just a little bit. It's the miniature line from WizKids that they're pre-primed 25 millimeter miniatures for Dungeons and Dragons, and I think it's basically the same company, just different packaging. But they also do Pathfinder models, but it's under the Pathfinder logo. I'm not sure I forget what they call the models, but I think it's all WizKids. At any rate, so you're looking at $4.99 for two really amazing sculpts, especially considering the 25 millimeter size. Those of you old timers remember Raul Partha miniatures and how tiny those were, but not a lot of details. But we thought they were amazing. Well, the Noel Zur's Marvelous Miniatures are absolutely chock full of details. Sometimes the faces, sometimes, but largely, I would say 99% of the time, on point. So at $4.99, you get two miniatures pre-primed, and they look great. So I mean, what's 5%? Let's see, well, 10% would be like 50 cents, right? Basically, $4.99, yeah, it'd be about 50 cents. So we're looking at maybe a 25-cent markup. Oh no, what will we do? Even if they go up $1, big deal. Okay, I'm getting two amazing models for $5.99. That's not bad at all. So just something to be aware of in the future, and I'm going to keep an eye on this. Actually, I'm reaching out to a person that, not bird dogs. Basically, he watches activity at the ports, gets data from like, hey, this just came in from Games Workshop. Let's see what it is, and looks at the shipping label basically, and looking at trying to find out what are the prices that what is going on there to actually warrant everybody else increasing the prices. So we're going to see how this works out. I don't know if I'll get any details out of it or not, but we'll try. So the other big thing I want to talk about is the WizKids launching two new things. The first thing is their prismatic paints. They worked with Vallejo paints on this, so I'm going to give them a try, but I'm not. I mean, it's Vallejo. I'm not a big fan of Vallejo. I mean, even though there's some good quality paints, I'm not a big fan of them. However, I'm going to give them a try because why not? But the other thing is they've got this new miniature line called Frameworks, and it's the thing that a friend of mine over at Perfect Chaos Productions was talking about. It's like, hey, why don't we not do it like Hero Forge or Eldritch Foundry is doing, where you can customize your model, STL it, print it off, or whatever. Why don't we come up with an STL, basically 3D model, a miniature, really Barney basic, but you can throw in all these attachments. So you've got your human warrior or human male in leather armor. Let's give them, maybe a set of forearms with different poses, and then a variety of close combat weapons, shields, that sort of thing. Basically have a customizable character, so you can build your character for your favorite RPG. And we played around with that idea for a while, and then of course life got in the way. Now fast forward a couple years, 2 years now I think, and well, before I get into that, basically what we were talking about, the fine folks over at Kingdom Death were already doing, but it was, if you're not familiar, Kingdom Death is very limited allocations. So I'm not going to say they count, but basically that idea. Now, WizKids has the sprue-based Frameworks models that are coming out. We're going to go take a look at them. Now, everything I just said about being able to build your own your character and customize them, that is what this is all about. Now, I'm not going to read this article over from Games Radar because I don't want to pull away from them, but essentially this is ideal for entry level or even experienced players. Let me get past that, and we're going to take a little closer look at these miniatures, but you don't have to be hardcore gamer or miniature builder. These are very easy to put together. Now they've also added a couple of features that we're gonna talk about, and just like with the Nolzur's miniatures, let me pull up Nolzur's miniatures so you can have an idea. These are the pre-primed models, and even though these are renders right here, they are almost on point, exact from render to finished product. And when I say usually they got about it's about 100 models, because I think they come out with about close to between 30 and 50 different packs, and they usually are 40 and 50 packs, and they have usually two miniatures in it. So you're looking at about 100 models every wave, and I think they're on wave 11 or 12 I talked about. So with these framework miniatures, they're going to be doing the same thing, where they'll be producing a whole set of models and then pushing it out for in waves. How much of these models are going to cost? What's the size of the boxes? How much are you getting in it? We don't know everything yet, but we could guesstimate. My guess right now, depending, I would say double the price, depending on the the size of the model. So if it's like a character, like an individual character pack, I could see them making that a $15 to $20 pack. Or if there was two characters in it, probably about a $20 to $25 pack. Maybe, maybe it depends on. They're probably upscaled to 28 millimeters. What I'm guessing, I couldn't find out in the article, but the amount of additional stuff. Let's just pull up one of these. Okay, here we go. So we have a variety of characters here. Is this individual pack or is this multiple packs? I don't know. If we operate this on an individual pack, I could see, based on the amount of plastic you're going to be getting in this, easily $10. And once again, what's the scales? At 25 millimeter, probably not. It's probably bumped up to 28 millimeter, just a little bit more to make it easier to socket everything in. So you're at 20, let's say 28 millimeters. I could see $15, $10 to $15 for this. If it's 20 for one character, we'd probably still buy it. Especially if we can customize our favorite character. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I mean, you can see right here, we got this female dwarf that could be, it's got 4 different head options. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different left arm options. Oh, sorry, not 5. 3 different left arm options with a mug, a book, and the shield arm with 2 different shields. And then she's got a backpack, looks like you can strap onto her, some other knickknacks, and 2 different weapon options. And looking at the socket, I wouldn't be surprised if you can go, hey, there'll probably be some easy swaps from other character packs where you can go, well, I'm going to take this sword from this guy right here, looking at it, and I'm going to put it on her left arm. And it might be a little stubby, it might be a little long, but nobody's really going to notice. So now I can have a dual wielding female dwarf with a mace or a hammer and a wicked looking short sword or whatever that is. But you can still, this elf or dark elf or whatever type of elf it is, it's got shield and staff on the right side and mace, I'm guessing, or morning star, and a short sword or a long sword on the other side with a bunch of other stuff that's going to come along with it. I like that they got a gingerbread man here for this. I'm going to guess an orc shaman. Or no, look at all the candy stuff. Maybe it's a hag or a witch. Kobold's got a bunch of options. And another thing that they had talked about, and they might even show it here with the orcs. Well, it's kind of hard to see. But I'm not sure how well you can see on the back of the box on the right side. But it looks like a stake or a weed or something. And then the one below it has 2. And then the one to the left of that has 3 stakes symbols. They're including stuff like this, or it could be like 3 bottles, 2 bottles, maybe some mushrooms, rocks or something in various quantities. Let's say 1, 2, 3. So you can identify which orc you're, like if you're facing all 5 of these orcs, well, which one are you attacking? Oh, I'm attacking number 2. Okay, the one with the 2 stakes on, or the two bottles, or maybe number 3. He's got the 3 different mushrooms on his base. It's just little cheeky ways that they can identify stuff, or the players and the GM can identify stuff and try to figure out, well, which one was number 3, which one's number 2, that sort of thing. Which I think is a brilliant thing to kind of add on for tracking purposes in game. So right now, I'm liking this idea, especially as I look at some of the other monsters. Like here we have a beholder, which I think looks really good because their current Nolzur's Marvelous Miniatures beholder is one of the most popular ones that usually gets sold out. Now it's got this dual kit that you can make looks like a beholder or a death tyrant, which I believe is basically an undead version of a beholder. You got all the different eye stalks, you got the 2 different jaw types, different tongue types, a little mini beholder, it looks like a baby one or a familiar or something, which is really, really cool. I am liking the customization that they've got here. Now, obviously, some creatures are not going to have tons of options. That's because they just don't have them. But the fact that you have the ability to customize your miniature, I think is really, really cool idea. Once again, I hope these don't break the bank money wise. I don't based on WizKids business model and the way they price everything, I don't see them going up to say like Games Workshop prices. So I would not expect this to be a $40 or $50 miniature. I could see this being 20, 25 easily. I think they have some Balrog. This is their Balrog. They've got a already pre-assembled, pre-primed Balrog right now. I want to say at most he's 19.99, and that is about a little bit bigger than a demon. For those of you familiar with Warhammer 40,000, he's a little bit bigger than a demon prince, but smaller than the greater demon of Khorne model that's out there. So he's somewhere in between that. And I want to say he's like 19.99. But this one, now you can sit that, which that looks gorgeous. I know that's a pre-rendered image with all digital coloring and all that jazz, but the rendering, it's almost one for one. You're going to be getting a gorgeous, gorgeous model. What you see is what you get. But there's other options here, lots of different options. Looks like a sword, whip, some other, looks like other stuff that you can tag on there. An amazing base. And this one might be a little bit higher because he is a larger model. And it's not that he's an important model, it's just the amount of plastic. So this might be, I don't know, up to $30, maybe 35, but that's still an amazing piece. So I mean, I think this is going to be a good thing for Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder or any other, at least right now, any other fantasy RPG out there. It's an excellent opportunity to customize your own characters. Are you going to get every single customization you want? No. I mean, without going to Hero Forge or Eldritch Foundry and paying 30 some odd dollars plus your shipping. I think so you're around $40 for shipping to get your miniature customized almost the way you want. This is an easier route to go. So they got the paints that are going to be coming from Vallejo. I don't know if this is is this a dropper bottle or is it got like the dropper applicator thing? I'm not sure what it is. I didn't see that in the description. I could have just skimmed over it. But they've got 60 paints that are going to be coming. I'm not going to go knee deep into paints at first, mainly because I get my paints from Monument Hobbies with their Pro Acryl line. Right now, highest quality paints I've seen on the market. Even better, now I've now tried 4 different scale 75 paints, and they're not ready to go out of the bottle. That's why I like Monument Hobbies. I can use them right out of the bottle. I don't even have to thin them. And everybody else, they're thick. So, and though I don't mind a little thickness now and then, thickness on paint is no bueno. So, am I going to try these paints? Yeah, I'll probably, if I can just buy one bottle or a couple bottles, like I'm going to be looking at whites and yellows mainly, because those two are the biggest kind of deciding factors. Anybody can make red and green paints and blue paints and whatnot. Black paint, easy. That's easy. But making a good white paint and a yellow paint, that's a lot harder. And that's why I like I said, the Pro Acryl line, the yellows and the whites are on point. Probably the white is the best I've ever encountered in the industry. So as soon as these hit the shelf and I have an opportunity to buy them, they might have already hit. No, it was only announced a couple weeks ago. I will do a live show. We'll talk about it. I'll probably even buy a couple of these new Frameworks miniatures from WizKids to give them a try. I just need to see what their first lineup is, and then hurry up and get to probably Etten Games and Hobbies, because they're the one that carries probably the largest line of Noel Zur's Marvelous Miniatures and deep cuts for Pathfinder miniatures, both from WizKids. Probably the largest collection of those miniatures in all of Houston. And there's a lot of stores here in Houston, but I mean, they pretty much have one half of an aisle just chock full of every version of these models. So I'm probably going to go there to go ahead and pre-order which one, because I imagine he's going to at the very least get 2 of every one and to see how well they sell. So especially with, I think it's 50, or no, I think it's 30 models are coming in wave one. So I've got, maybe I can just go through and take a look. At any rate, you guys have yourself a wonderful Sunday. We're going to be covering some Games Workshop news a little later. And if everything goes right, then I have an RPG review that we're going to cover. But if it doesn't, if the execution doesn't pull off right, we'll hold off. I want to make sure I get it right for you all. Anyways, have a wonderful rest of your weekend. And if I don't get another video up or I don't talk to you, I will hopefully see you guys tomorrow with some new videos. You guys have yourself a wonderful day. Talk to you later.